Now, there's a lot of experts in Major League Soccer about there, but I'm not sure how many of them, when asked a couple of years ago at the start of the season for an end-of-season prediction, would have tipped successfully Columbus Crew to win MLS Cup. So you know what? I thought I'm going to ask the man who did just that, the expert of all experts when it comes to Major League Soccer, about what's going to happen in the season ahead. So first of all, before we get to the first prediction, Ali, how confident are you that by gazing into the future, you've got a fair idea of what's going to happen in MLS this season?
It's getting more and more difficult to figure out what's going to happen in MLS with the amount of teams that now you have out there and the resources and the expansion team in Charlotte FC. And there's a lot of moving parts right now in MLS, and we don't quite know exactly what the final version of some of these teams are going to be. So it's difficult to now, early on, be able to tell you, hey, wait till the end of the season. I'm going to be right once again. I don't know about all that. I got lucky, so that happened.
It's a small sample size so far, but what MLS does have is some wonderful players. But who do you think would be a good bet to be player of the season in Major League Soccer this year?
I'm going to say Carlos Vela. And the caveat here is Carlos Vela staying healthy. And staying healthy with Carlos Vela is not only physically healthy, but also whether he's mentally engaged. And if he is, and again, these are big ifs because we saw last season that physically not quite right, mentally not quite right, and his performances suffer, and LAFC suffer because of it. But I do think that Carlos Vela will have a comeback season. He started off very well with a hat trick, but injury concerns in the second game of the season coming off at halftime. I'm still going to say Carlos Vela. I think when he's at his best, when he's fully engaged, and when he is physically fit, still the best player in Major League Soccer.
The next category is newcomer / signing of the season. Is that one player or two players for you? And if so, who?
Well, I'm going to give you three players that have been thrown around in terms of names. And I would say Hector Herrera, who was just signed by the Houston Dynamo, but currently playing at Atletico Madrid, but he doesn't come in until the summer. Lorenzo Insigne, who currently captaining Napoli, but he doesn't come in until the summer. So the only one of those big names that is now around and actually playing is Xherdan Shaqiri for Chicago Fire. Chicago Fire is a club that early days of MLS was very much a part of the discussion as to one of the best clubs. And we're talking about the success and run of success that they had when Bob Bradley was the coach at the time. And then since then, it's been a lot of frustration, a lot of ups and downs. And now a new coach in place with Efra Hendrickson, and now he's going to depend on guys like Xherdan Shaqiri. The reason I mentioned Xherdan Shaqiri is because while I may be excited as to what Lorenzo Insigne is going to do, that's not going to happen until July. And so what do we do from here to July? Then we have to look at other big names around. And I would say, what about Shaqiri? And can he stay engaged? Can he be interested in MLS and fully believe in the things that he's doing with the Chicago Fire? And if he does, he's a very talented player. I think he will be exciting to watch so long as he's interested. If he's disinterested, then he'll be another one of those stories of players that come to MLS and just do not embrace everything that the league is about.
What's your prediction for top goal scorer, Ali?
Well, if Carlos Vela is my player of the year, he's probably my top scorer as well. But obviously, when you think goal scorers in MLS, and I'm talking about MLS, I'm always going to bring up Josef Martinez because he's my guy. Vamos, Venezuela! That is my guy, will always be my guy, and will continue to be my guy. And up until he retires or stops playing in MLS, when it comes to goal scorers, I'm going to take Josef Martinez. Of course, Carlos Vela will be in the conversation as well.
Let's end now with a surprise for the season category, but I want both positive and negative. And I don't want to end on a negative, so let's start with the negative. Who is the surprise of the season? Player, team, or manager who won't achieve what they were expected to achieve at the start of the season?
You're so negative. See, Mark, I'm
going to end on a positive. That I could have ended on a negative. We're not doing that. We're going to end on a positive. That's why this has to go here.
I'm a half I tell you, I'm a half fool. I look at my glass and it's half full, and yet I'm gonna humor you just because it's you and how special you are to me. I'm gonna say that with the success that Bob Bradley had at LAFC, still came up short in winning the big one and even actually making it to MLS Cup. Now, big move to Toronto FC, and with that comes a lot of big expectations, including the signing of Lorenzo Insigne that is going to attract a lot of attention to Toronto FC. So by Bob Bradley moving to Toronto, you're thinking Toronto is they're going to turn everything around. And that's the expectation anyway. And I just don't know that he's going to be able to do that in one season. There are a lot of holes in Toronto in terms of the player personnel that they have available, and it's going to take more than just Lorenzo Insigne to turn them around, and it's going to take more than just Bob Bradley to turn them around. A lot of work to be done there. They may get better as the season goes on, but I don't think they're going to meet the expectations coming into the season.
I wish I had you as a teacher at school where you can deliver negativity, but in a positive, kind way. So thank you for that. And look, it might take time. It's the same with any new player. Héctor Herrera arriving at Houston. Wonderful players. It just might take time for adaptability. So yeah, totally get that. And I want to end with a positive. That whoever kind of looked ahead to the season and maybe didn't mention this player, didn't mention this coach, or didn't mention this team at all, will get a big surprise at the end of the season, because they might be playoff bound, or they might be in contention for top scorer or for coach of the year. So who do you think will kind of be the biggest surprise in a nice way to end with?
And this is an entirely shot in the dark here, because I just didn't see it coming into the season, and I don't know whether it would last or not. But Austin FC has started with 2 wins in a row, scoring 5 goals in both of those games. Now, it may be a little bit of a scheduling layup, a little scheduling tap-in action in that they play against Cincinnati and they played against Inter Miami, but still, they won both of those games and they scored 5 goals. And Sebastián Driussi is scoring goals, the Argentinian player that they brought in. So it feels like Austin FC coming out of nowhere may be a competitive team. Now, we'll see how real they are in the upcoming weeks, because they're going to have a far more difficult schedule. Regardless, I like the way that they're playing. I like how open they are. I like their possession game. I like how they commit numbers forward. They're vertical in their attack, and whenever they're able to complete 3 or 4 passes together, it's usually with dynamic movement ahead of the ball as well. There are a lot of good things about Austin FC. If they continue to do that and they are able to maintain and sustain this level of play, I think they're going to surprise a lot of people this season.
And the club whose director of media, communications and promotions and whatever else, Adrian Healy, an ESPN FC colleague of ours. But you know what, Ali, I was just thinking the other day, since him and McConaughey have become BFFs, we haven't really heard from Adrian too much, have we?
Well, no, but I'm still giving him a shout out and his club to see if he remembers us. That's all I'm saying. We're here. We're still here. We're still knocking out segments. You know, just think about us every once in a while, Adrian Healy. We're here. The little people, we're here.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.